so I'm gonna do my best to see if I can make you guys a video. This is a 2004 Ford F-150. Okay, big beautiful truck, right? Nice truck. Here's the thing, it has what's known as Ford's 5.4 liter Triton engine. All right, and on this vehicle there's a engineering defect with the plugs. The way the heads have been engineered, and to keep it simple, pistons and whatnot, it has to have a very special plug. The problem is the plugs like to get seized up inside of the engine at around 70 to 100,000 miles if they're not changed out. Now I went ahead and already pulled one just to show you an example of what this plug looks like. And if you can see, it's got some carbon buildup right there. And what happens is that gets seized up when you try to remove it. And as you can see, this sleeve right here, when you try to remove it, will break off inside of the cylinder head. Now, what that does is that turns a simple tune-up into a complete engine rebuild where the head has to come off. Ford does have a special tool because the problem is mechanics started breaking these off left and right. Well, Ford got sued because of it, so Ford actually forged their own special tool. It takes about 8 hours to extract one of these spark plugs if you break them off. Now, what I want to do is I want to take this video and I want to show you the proper professional factory procedure for removing these spark plugs. You see, you've got spark plugs that are buried way back in the back there. As you can see, there's your coil on top of the spark plug. And I've seen a lot of people sit inside of the engine. I've seen people remove things that don't necessarily have to be removed in order to gain access to those back plugs back there. And so today I'm actually going to show you what steps you need to take to get back there, and then also do it without damaging anything. So we've got our tools set up, everything that we feel that we're going to need for this job. And the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to disconnect our battery. So I'm going to pause the video and do that real quick. Okay, well, now that we got our battery disconnected, we no longer have power to the system. So we're safe to start removing things. Now the first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove the main computer. Yep, we're going to go ahead and do that because once we get this out of the way, it's going to create a nice big cavity for us to get back in there. So let's see if we can get some of these wires and other things out of the way. You're going to very gently just take a couple fingers, place your thumb here, and just pull back on these clips. Okay? Like so. And then you just pull them back. And just kind of set them back aside here. That's all you have to do. Now next we're going to get our 10 millimeter and we're going to go ahead and fully remove the computer. Okay, now that we've got our bolts removed out of our computer, we're just going to gently grab the computer, a couple fingers, not hard, and gently lift it up out. You don't need any force, anything like that. Now that's going to give us access to our main bracket. And what we're going to do next is we're going to remove our main bracket. And that'll create the cavity that we need to get back into these back plugs back here. And by doing it this way, this is the exact factory procedure. Like I said, I've seen all kinds of people do different ways to get back to those plugs. But if you'll just take an extra 20 minutes and remove the main computer, then you'll have all the access you need to get back there. And you won't have to worry about breaking or damaging anything like that. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video now and get our bracket out of the way. This also is going to be a 10 millimeter bolt as well. Okay, now that we got the computer removed and out of the way, so we can gain access to our back two plugs, the next actual factory procedure is to go ahead and remove your power steering pump reservoir. Now, I'm not going to remove it from the bracket. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to disconnect the bracket here and underneath here, actually, and then go ahead, and then that'll give me the access I need to get to my front plug and coil here to unplug it without causing any damage. So I will be doing that next. Okay, so I went ahead and decided to first remove the reservoir, and then I will remove the bracket. So all you need to do is remove these bolts here. They are an 8 millimeter. And then you've got two bolts back here to remove. And then you can just gently take your reservoir and set it aside. Now this will save yourself or your customer the money of having to replace power steering fluid. And now we have access to our bracket here that we can get apart right here and get better access to our plug wires right here. Okay, so I went ahead and looked at the procedure, and I also looked at my bracket, and after removing my reservoir out of the way and getting better access to my bracket, decided that due to a small minor production change in the way it is now bolted to the air filter housing, if you can see down in there somewhere. Let me see if I can get this down here for you guys. Right there is a nice little hidden bolt. So I just took a moment and evaluated everything and decided that yes, I could get to my coil without causing any damage so long as I was careful. So what you're going to want to do next is get your focus back in. And then the coils are bolted down by a little 7mm bolt. So you just remove that. Okay. And then find a nice little safe place for your bolt. And just pull